It's a rematch from a year ago as the Wake Forest Cougars collide with the Mallard Creek Mavericks. Can the Cougars' running attack carry the title back east, or will the Mavericks capture the West's 7th consecutive 4AA title? The BB&T NCHSAA Football Championship starts now.
We welcome you to BB&T Field here in Winston-Salem for a rematch. The 4AA state championship on the line. Mallard Creek hoping to repeat as state champs against Wake Forest. I'm Paul Doherty along with Jay Sonnhalter, and let's get right to work. Mallard Creek looking to repeat as state champs, balanced on both sides of the football, looking very good here in 2014.
Yeah, Paul, another dominant year by the Mavericks, 14-1. And off of last year's state championship team, they lost 36 seniors, only 4 returning starters on offense, 3 on defense, and they made it back here with a very balanced offense and a stingy defense led by Coach Mike Palmieri.
And, of course, Wake Forest finding themselves in this championship. They beat Garner to get here to the final once again. Also, a balanced attack, beginning to work the passing game into that vaunted offense.
Exactly. They've got a stable of running backs, 3 running backs that are all studs, a good quarterback, but that defense and that defensive line specifically is really where the strength of this team is at.
Let's look now at our stars to watch for Mallard Creek. He's one of the best dual-threat quarterbacks in North Carolina. James Smith, just a junior.
Yeah, exactly. James Smith, 4,404 total yards, top 10 in North Carolina history. He can do it through the air, but also on the ground, running for 1,100 yards.
And for Wake Forest, tempting to pick Bryce Love, their big offensive star, but we've got to go with the defense and Dexter Lawrence.
Yeah, Big Dexter, 6'5", 315. He's all over the field. Only a junior. He can really stop the run, but also get in the backfield with 10 sacks on the year.
Mallard Creek, Wake Forest, next right here on Time Warner Cable Sports Channel. The captains are on the field, ready for the coin toss. The 4A championship is ready to get underway. Paul Doherty, Jay Sonnhalter, getting you ready for tonight's kickoff. Earlier in the week, we talked with our head coaches about their plans for tonight's final. Let's listen to that audio right now.
We play 48 minutes, this team here, we've been down 30 points in the second half of games this year. We trailed in the fourth quarter. In the past, we kind of steamrolled a little bit, and this year, this team right here has had to earn every win. So, we're happy about our situation, but we know we still have a lot of work to do.
And I feel like with the way they played this year, having Bryce healthy, the way the defense have played all year, I think they're definitely going into the game looking not just to play it, but to win it this year.
Comments from Mike Palmieri and from Reggie Lucas, our head coaches tonight. This, of course, a rematch from last season. Mallard Creek finished a perfect year, 16-0, with a win over Wake Forest, 59-21. And Wake Forest really dug a hole for themselves in the first half of that game, and I think that's what Coach Lucas was referring to. He's got his players healthy. They were injured going into that game last year, and they're themselves undefeated coming into this one at 15-0.
Right, well, looking for redemption from last year's state championship game, 59-21. Undefeated and really had a dominant year this year, Paul. And they're back in this game, and Bryce Love's their star on offense, and Coach Lucas talked about him there being healthy and ready for this ball game. And Coach Palmieri talked about his team playing a full, complete 4 quarters. And I know that's what it's going to take to pull out a win in tonight's ball game.
Well, Mallard Creek has not lost a lot of football games since they came on the scene back in 2007. They've been in the mix, in the hunt for a state championship over the last 4 seasons, surely. And they lost a very close game to Butler, which is an obvious rival to Mallard Creek over the last couple of years. And I think that was a real lesson to this squad that they're going to have to fight for everything they get. And Coach Palmieri, mentioned that big 30-point contest against Huff later on in the year. And so they've been tested in ways they were not last year. Wake Forest, I think, is going to have to play almost a perfect game tonight. They're going to have to stay within themselves, and they're going to have to be mistake tonight.
Right, exactly. Both teams are so talented, but Mallard Creek, they have that one blemish, but they learned a lot from that adversity that they faced this year. But Mallard Creek's got a lot of talent on defense and on offense. They're a well-balanced ball club that likes to mix in the run and the pass. So really excited to watch tonight's ball game.
Cole Westbury will kick it off for Wake Forest in the royal blue. And deep to receive is Kyle Horton and Vernon Greer, a pair of wide receivers who are also track stars for Mallard Creek. And a nice return on the way for Vernon Greer, a big hit. You hear the crowd get up as Anthony Staley Jr. makes the tackle. Let's send it down to the field to introduce the third member of our broadcast team, Amanda Busick. Amanda?
Guys, is this going to be the day that the West was won? Earlier today, Shelby knocked off Clinton in the 2A championship. We just had East Lincoln finish off Washington in the 2AA title. Now Mallard Creek's going to look to get that done against Wake Forest tonight. I talked with head coach of the Mavericks, Mike Palmieri, earlier before the game. I asked him, is there any way that Wake Forest can exploit you tonight? He kind of shrugged off that question, had full confidence in his team, and just knows that his team is done. On the other side of the ball, I also asked the Cougars head coach any shot that Mallard Creek will exploit them. He kind of had the same response, a lot of confidence. He said he answered that question if it happens. Going forward, let's get back to the field and see how this goes.
Thanks very much, Amanda. Mallard Creek getting right to the air attack. And Jay, we've seen this a few times this season. James Smith will show the strength of his arm, and you'll see the speed. Kyle Horton getting deep, but they just can't connect on that first play from scrimmage.
Yeah, we saw the confidence in that play call by offensive coordinator Joe Cox, with Smith going back there, throwing a bomb out to Kyle Horton, just a little too long for the completion.
And Smith will keep it. He's the number 2 rusher on this team, and he breaks free. The 40-yard line. Down the far sideline, James Smith on the run. Touchdown. Mallard Creek strikes first on the second play of the game.
Well, Paul, they drew it up perfectly there, and you can see on those first 2 plays the dual threat ability from James Smith. That first play threw a bomb, showed his strong arm, and on that play found the hole, wiggled his way through there, and once he broke through to the open, nobody could catch him. So fast and elusive, and that's why he's rushed for over 1,100 yards this year, because of his speed.
A 70-yard run for the quarterback, and James Smith puts Mallard Creek up on top. Anthony Valderrama is on the field to attempt the extra point, and that is blocked at the line. So Wake Forest giving up the early touchdown, but swatting back the extra point attempt. Mallard Creek leads at 6-0.
Yeah, last week Wake Forest blocked an extra point, and this week they did the same thing. The special teams is going to be key, but on that first drive from Mallard Creek, impressive start to this ball game, getting on the board that quick and really just showing the ability to have explosive plays, and that's what they've done all year. And James Smith really leading the team already to start this ball game.
Coach Lucas talking with his squad, sends him out onto the field. Let's see if we can get a big return, take care of the football, and see if we can get some good field position to start our first drive.
Well, it's really important when you're in the state championship game to get some momentum, get in the flow of the ball game, and Mallard Creek has gotten in that flow very quickly. But it's going to be important for Wake Forest to get a drive going here, build some confidence, because this is a big ball game for these kids, and it's a rematch of last year's state championship.
A look at Bryce Love, who will be deep to receive this kickoff. Alexander DeGrassi getting ready to put it on a tee. A little conversation there with Jonathan Neal and Devin Mines.
Bryce Love.
The officials waiting to place the ball for DeGrassi to put it on the tee. And let's take a look now at how these two teams got here. Mallard Creek had a number 4 seed going into the playoffs. That forced them to go on the road. They had to beat Butler again this year, which was tough enough. Then they played Providence, beat them 49-21. Had to go on the road to Lake Norman last Friday. Wake Forest, undefeated on the year, they were at home. And they went through some teams they've seen a lot of. Leesville Road, Pinecrest, Millbrook, and of course Garner. And the kick taken at the 13-yard line. Out to the 25, and that's just about it. So Wake Forest will have a good spot to start things off. And with Wake Forest, Jay, it's all about establishing the run and then throwing the football out of that flow, because for Wake Forest, they've got to get Love going early.
Yeah, their offense is built on the run. They've got a strong offensive line and really controlled the line of scrimmage this year. And then let Love, once he finds that hole, he's got such great speed. He's picked up big yardage, averaging almost 12 yards per carry, over 2,000 on the year. So he's the talent at the backfield. But there's two other running backs as well that are very talented.
Wake Forest, traditionally a wing T offense. Gain of a yard or two on the play.
Ball carrier, number 22, Bryce Love.
Great defensive front, really great defensive players all over the field from Mallard Creek. It's going to be a tough challenge for Wake Forest to run the football tonight. Both these teams loaded with those extra players they bring up for the playoff roster. So just a ton of guys on both sides as they're all trying to participate in this 4AA championship. And Bryce Love gets to the outside. Look at that burst of speed, gets by Devin Mines, and he'll pick up a first down.
Paul, we already see why Bryce Love is so special. He does have that extra gear, and on the end around right here, just going on the outside, the sweep play, he just makes a cut and then gets to the outside edge, and once he gets to that edge, he's faster than most everybody on the field, and he can get that extra yards going down the sideline.
So where Mallard Creek can get big plays and big yardage. Obviously, we've seen Bryce Love rip a couple of big runs, but this is the bread and butter to establish the run game, keep the defense guessing, use the misdirection to their advantage. DeJuan Green with the carry, the senior, rushed for 533 yards coming into this game, 4 touchdowns. A nice gain on first down.
5-yard gain on the play. Second down ball.
Paul, Green's their bruiser running back. He's one of 3 running backs they use and really does a nice job running the ball inside the tackles.
Love bounces to the outside, goes by Mines. Far side of the field, tries to beat Gaddy, and he dances down the sideline. Looks like he'll step out at the 19-yard line. Wow, Marquise Gaddy with great closing speed, but Love almost took it to the end zone.
Yeah, Mallard Creek didn't set the edge, and they let Love get outside again, that same sweep play to the outside, and Mallard Creek couldn't control that edge, allowing him to get to the sideline again.
First and 10 from the 19-yard line for Wake Forest. Trying to respond to an early Mallard Creek touchdown. Good solid run for Devin Lawrence, the freshman. We're going to talk a lot about his big brother tonight, Dexter Lawrence, our star to watch, but Devin Lawrence has really shown that he is an able backup to Love, and he could be a very special running back in his own right.
Oh, exactly, Paul. 3 strong running backs, and he's another guy, only a freshman, that has a bright future. We talked about his brother. We'll be seeing him on the defensive line in a little bit here.
On 2nd and 5. You see how tough it is to run over the middle. Grant Gibson in on the play for Mallard Creek.
Well, Paul, this is a really important drive for Wake Forest to get that confidence after that big touchdown to James Smith. They're doing a nice job driving the ball down the field, but being inside the red zone, they really need to connect here on this 3rd down to get some points on the board.
No gain on the play. 3rd down.
On 3rd down and 5. Mac Moore takes the shotgun snap, rolls right, has a receiver, and Brooks Cunningham cannot handle that pass. He was open, and he had a shot at it.
Yeah, that was just a quick out, rolling Mac Moore to the outside, letting him use his legs to get some free time, and just a little too far for Chamberlain there. And he's their go-to wide receiver, 6'2", long arms, and they look for him when it's a passing situation.
So Cunningham can't come down with it. On 4th down and 5. We see Cole Westbury waiting. And it looks like Wake Forest is going to be forced to call timeout. Didn't have the right personnel. I think Zach Coates is making his way out onto the field. So we expect to see Coates doing the work. As the field goal kicker, he was shaken up and injured over the last couple of games, but Westbury has done a pretty good job behind him. So I don't know if he was set to hold for Coates or not, but Coates was not out there.
Well, confusion on special teams unit, but it was a good job calling the timeout there, because this is an opportunity to get points on the board. You want to make sure your special teams unit is all on the same page.
A beautiful night here at BB&T Field in Winston-Salem. Game 3 of 3 live games today. We played the Charlotte Catholic Newbern game last night. It's been quite an event. Zach Coates in to attempt what looks to be about a 32-yard field goal.
Field goal attempt by number 35, Zach Coates.
Coates is 6 for 9 on the year, along with 50 yards this season.
Well, he's the Cap 8 Special Teams Player of the Year, reliable kicker, really a strong leg.
And that one's going to be blocked as Amari Henderson gets his body across, and Mallard Creek will take it over in good position right at the 25-yard line. So, wow, Mallard Creek goes to the big play. They score quickly. Wake Forest blocks the extra point. Then Wake Forest comes down the field and come up empty as Amari Henderson blocks that field goal attempt.
Yeah, Henderson just came right off the edge. Nobody blocked him and stuck his hands out. Perfect technique, 6'1", such long arms. Really did a good job of keeping his eye on the ball to make that block.
8:49 to go here in the first quarter, and Mallard Creek is back on offense. And a run for Chancery Bowman. Bowman gets to the outside. A nice gain of 9 on that play. And you know, we said we would talk a lot about Dexter Lawrence. Right now, they're trying to get away from him as quickly as they can, and so far they've been able to do it.
Right, they're running to the outside. They're running away from Big Dexter, but Bowman's another special player. Over 1,500 yards on the year in the offensive line. Got the edge for him there, opened up a hole, let him do the rest.
Second down and a yard to go. Smith out of the shotgun, and he'll keep it. Steps up. Out to the 47-yard line, takes up the first down. We've seen this all season long, really all throughout his year and a half or so career. You know, he took over as the sophomore quarterback last year from Amir Scaife, who went down to injury, and he led Mallard Creek, a team that was just rolling along in 2013, to the state championship. He was the MVP last season, and he has really emerged this year as a very, very talented quarterback, just a junior. On 1st and 10, Smith puts it up. It'll be incomplete, and we see a flag in the offensive backfield.
James Smith pass falls incomplete. There is a penalty flag on the play.
There may be 2 flags on this play, Jay.
There's another one down on the sideline in the wide receiver area. But Dexter Lawrence was creating havoc in the backfield, and that penalty that's in the backfield looks like it was holding against him.
So indeed, 2 separate penalties, a holding penalty, and of course Smith throwing that ball to nowhere to try to escape the pressure.
Well, that was all caused by the defensive line, and that's one of the strengths of this Wake Forest team, is that pressure that they can bring, whether it's Lawrence or Antoine. They're doing a good job getting pressure
holding
in the passing situation.
on the offense. That penalty's been declined. Intentional grounding on the offense. That penalty accepted. 5 yards from start of foul. Also lost it down.
See Smith in trouble as Lawrence breaks through. And there's nobody over there except an assistant coach on the sideline.
Well, Lawrence just split that double team and got through there, and that's what caused the holding.
Once again, Smith in trouble, and once again he dumps it off. No flag this time.
Number 7, James Smith pass falls incomplete.
Jay, we talked about the strength of the Wake Forest defense, and when Mallard Creek goes right to the big play, they score quickly. I imagine viewers are wondering, where is this great defense? I think we're seeing it right now.
Right, you can see Lawrence right there. Single block just went directly in the backfield, barely with any resistance, and he's starting to create that havoc that we talked about in the pregame. And Paul, if he continues to get that pressure, you're going to probably see Mallard Creek start to roll out James Smith to get him on the edge or on the move to get him away from that defensive line's pressure.
On 3rd and 22, James Smith is going to try to carry it off the right side, and he is slammed to the ground. That's Antoine Terry, the big senior defensive end, and as big as Dexter Lawrence is as a junior, 6'5", 315. Antoine Terry, 6'2", 270. And he's an able partner to Dexter Lawrence on this defensive line.
Yeah, he's a part of that 3-4 defense where they don't blitz, they just get pressure from their 3 down linemen, and Terry threw off his blocker there to get in the backfield for the nice tackle.
So Chauncey Bowman will punt it for Mallard Creek. Standing back at his 21-yard line, he'll get a punt off. Britt turns away from it, takes a little Mallard Creek hop. And Wake Forest can get back to work. So they came up empty on their first drive, but they get a good defensive series and a little help from Mallard Creek with the yellow flag. But Wake Forest can get back to work here, trailing 6-0, 6:48 to go first quarter.
Wake Forest takes over, 1st down and 10 at the 27.
You see the shift, that wing T offense. Guards pull. So nice pickup for Bryce Love.
The Cougar ball carrier.
Right now, this is a bread and butter play for Wake Forest, and they're having some success with it against this defensive front.
Yeah, the 2 guards pulled right there, and Love did a good job of just staying patient and finding the hole, reading those blocks and picking up what he could.
5-yard gain.
Second down and 5 more. Hands it off. DeJuan Green dives forward for a couple.
Paul, so far in this ball game, Coach Lucas's game plan is having Green and Lawrence run those inside runs, getting Love on the outside, and they're mixing in the run with all 3 running backs, but that's a tendency so far.
3rd down and 3 for Wake Forest. You see Mallard Creek coming up to stop that run. And a flag comes in.
A penalty flag on the play.
Dead ball. Snap infraction on the offense. 5-yard penalty. Remains 3rd down.
So that makes the job for Wake Forest a little tougher on 3rd down. Third and 8 coming up for the Cougars. Wake Forest is in their 3rd ever state championship final, looking for their first win. Moore gets it free, and it looks like it's intercepted at the 40-yard line. Amari Henderson comes up with the football. 7 interceptions coming into the game, make it 8. And the young man who's on his way to play here at Wake Forest shines here on BB&T Field.
Yeah, Henderson's defensive star of the game so far with this interception. Also the blocked extra point really just read Mac Moore's eyes. You see him cut in front of Cunningham there for the big interception, giving his offense great field position.
On 1st down, they go back to the run. Bowman slipping in the backfield. Still, he's able to pick up 4 on the play.
A flag on the play. The tackle by number 42, Garrett Cranmer.
So we said at the top that Wake Forest might have to play a perfect game to have a chance to win. Big error there, turning the football back over to Mallard Creek, but they get a break here.
10 yards from spot, a foul. Replay, 1st down.
So a couple of big penalties for Mallard Creek's offense. 10 yards from the spot. That's all the way back to the Mallard Creek 49-yard line.
Yeah, Paul, both teams have had penalties that have kind of killed drives so far in this ballgame. That's something the coaches are going to have to address because you don't want to put yourself in a situation where it's 1st and 20.
Play action look. Smith goes deep, has Greer, and Greer reaches out but cannot haul it in.
Number 7, James Smith pass. And number 5, Vernon Greer is incomplete.
And that's the confidence of James Smith and the speed of his wideouts. Vernon Greer nearly getting to that, and that would have been yet another big play here in the first quarter for Mallard Creek.
Yeah, James Smith has such a strong arm, and he trusts his receivers. They're so fast. All 3 of his receivers on the outside, all track athletes. He just throws the deep ball so beautiful and lets them go and get it. On that play, it was just a little too long for the big completion.
And even with the incomplete passes, those guys are averaging about 17, 18 yards per catch. 2nd down and 20 to go. Smith looking to throw, has Greer, and just gets that one a little outside of Vernon Greer. He stumbled, but I think he would have had trouble getting to that.
Well, Paul, when they're throwing these long passing plays, that stretches the defense out. So even though there are incompletions on those particular plays, that's going to open up the running game and then the short passing game as well and really inhibit them to have extra room because Wake Forest's defense is really strong in the middle and they stack the box, but having those speedy wide receivers on the outside with Smith's arms is going to open things up for this Mallard Creek offense.
Mallard Creek leading it 6-0, just under 5 minutes to go here in the first quarter. 3rd down and 20 to go for James Smith. So he looks for an option and now has to run away from Terry. Great pursuit and a terrific play by Brandon Medlin.
Number 7, James Smith on the quarterback
Terry
keeper. He's
flushed James Smith out and Medlin ran him down.
You know, the Mallard Creek offensive line actually gave Smith some time right there to throw the ball, but the routes were so long he had to be flushed out of the pocket right there. And Terry and Lawrence were getting pressure on him, and he picked up what he could.
So we saw the flag come in at the end of the play.
And Paul, that looked like a face mask there.
And that one's going to go against Wake Forest.
Personal foul, face mask. On the defense, 15 yards from in the run, replay 3rd down.
And that really helps Mallard Creek out, but it's kind of unbelievable that a 15-yard penalty doesn't give you a 1st down. It's 3rd down and a yard to go for Mallard Creek. Smith out of the shotgun with Bowman to his right. Bowman has the ball and some room to run. Bouncing to the outside, getting the 24-yard line. Bowman will pick up the 1st down.
Well, that penalty really hurt Wake Forest on there, putting it in a very manageable situation, 3rd and 3, and Bowman's so fast and electric. His offensive line's getting pushed up front. He ran off that left side and found the hole to pick up the 1st down.
First down, Mavericks at the 23-yard line.
Just about 4:30 to go in the first quarter. Mallard Creek has already rushed for over 100 yards. 1st and 10. Smith with time. Up top, Kyle Horton reaches out and pulls it in. Touchdown.
Unbelievable catch by Horton right there. Smith threw it on the money where only his wide receiver Horton could get it. He ran a little corner route there, and Horton just reached out and watched it all the way into his hands for a big touchdown, Paul.
You can't give James Smith time to throw because he's going to do that to you. And again, we talked about it a moment ago, his trust in his receivers and the development of James Smith's ability to throw the football over the last year has just been really, really beautiful to watch. And we'll have another missed extra point for Mallard Creek as Valderrama sends that one wide. And so Mallard Creek leads at 12-0, but they've missed 2 extra points.
Yeah, and Coach Coach Palmieri talked about James Smith's improved accuracy this junior season, and he had a clean pocket there plenty of time, and Kyle Horton's so fast and so speedy, it's hard for this secondary to keep up with him, and Smith threw a perfect pass, and Horton's got great hands and brought it in.
4 minutes, 14 seconds remaining in the first quarter. Mallard Creek 12. Wake Forest
Coach Lucas
0.
using every available moment to talk with his team. Gets the return team out onto the field, Bryce Love. hoping to get his hands on it. Sidney Campbell is also deep for Wake Forest. And there's a look at the freshman,
Kicking
Devin
off for
Lawrence.
the Mavericks, number 95, Alexander DeGrassi.
He's standing down around the 20-yard line.
Forest, number 22, Bryce Love.
So some speed back there for Wake Forest. So DeGrassi will put the ball on the tee at the 40-yard line and kick it off for Mallard Creek. They lead it 12-0 here at BB&T Field in Winston-Salem. Kick taken at the 25-yard line. Nice burst of speed. Great hard running by Sidney Campbell, and a good return will give Wake Forest terrific field position to start this drive.
Well, that's what Wake Forest needs. They need somebody to step up and really provide a spark. And impressive return by Campbell right there, getting it out on those squib kicks, those sky kicks. It's really hard to gauge when the ball is going to get to. And there's a lot of pressure on you just to catch the ball because it's a slow-moving play, but he picked up what he could and brought his team out in good field position at the 41-yard line.
Wake Forest started their first drive from the 27-yard line, got down the field but missed the field goal, then were picked off in their second attempt. And here's a look at Bryce Love reaching out, trying to pick up the first down. Looks like he'll get 9 on that first down run.
Yeah, Paul, and you see his ability to hit the hole. Once he sees a crease, he goes, and he's averaging almost 12 yards per carry. Got 9 there for a nice gain on first down.
Everybody having a good time here at BB&T Field, and there's a little mix-up there in the backfield. I believe Shaheem Mitchell had to improvise.
Yeah, well, luckily for them, it wasn't a fumble because they weren't ready for that snap. It just went right to Mitchell, and he got what he could. Looks like they lost about half a yard, but that could have been disaster.
And number 51,
so that's going to bring up 3rd down and 1 for Wake Forest. Campbell checks in with the play, and Mitchell races to the sideline.
3rd down 1.
Cunningham will line up as wide receiver, but they'll go to the running back, and there's a swarm of white jerseys all over him. Joshua Brown leading the attack, and Love is dropped for a loss. That's going to bring up 4th down.
Well, this Mallard Creek defense is so fast, and they flew the ball, ran in a pack, and there's 4 guys going after Love there, then more coming in on the pile.
Wake Forest punting the football, fair catch called for. And that one's going to roll down close to the 15-yard line. So it'll be Mallard Creek's football from the 15. Let's set it down sideline. Amanda Busick standing by with Ethan Horton.
Guys, I think you might recognize this face, a spectator now. Ethan, your son with that incredible touchdown for Mallard Creek. How is this coming full circle for you?
No, it is. I mean, they got a good football team. They got a lot of good players. They're making plays. They're out early. They're putting the pressure on Wake Forest. So the win will be special, but right now there's still a game to play.
Programs looking at your son from your own experience in the recruitment process. What advice are you giving, Kyle?
Just play it out, see what happens, and try to have a good game. Obviously, academics is very important, but you got to play the game, and I think that's what they're looking at right now.
And right now, Chancery Bowman is playing the game.
Now.
Amanda, as Bowman is going to race into the end zone. We've got a flag back in the Mallard Creek backfield. So I'm afraid this one might be coming back for Mallard Creek. And there it is, a holding penalty, erasing what would have been the 3rd score of this first quarter for Mallard Creek.
Well, Paul, just another explosive play right there. And Bowman's got so much speed and faked out the defense and went the distance. Unfortunately for Mallard Creek, though, there's a holding back at the line of scrimmage that's going to bring this back.
Holding on offense. Has the distance to the goal for mine's first down.
So that holding penalty is half the distance. And what a reversal. Yeah, I know Amanda was talking with Ethan Horton a moment ago, and that's the risk of taking a moment here against against Mallard Creek. You never know what they're going to come up with, and so far tonight they've had some big plays. And Bowman, wow, he took it in, but Mallard Creek now has a hole to climb out of, and that's the way to do it. As James Smith goes up top and hits Vernon Greer, so he'll get a first down as they spot it at the 34-yard line.
Yeah, Paul, that was a deep post pattern, and Smith had a clean pocket to throw it in. He threw a laser to Greer, and Greer jumped up for the nice catch, just showing how athletic he is and averaging over 17 yards per catch on the year.
Javon Harbison is wide at the top of your screen. Horton and Greer, right side. The tight end Medley will settle. They'll hand it to Bowman, and he's hitting the backfield awfully hard, pushed back. Charlie Constantino, Wake Forest linebacker, in on the tackle for the Cougars.
Yeah, Terry was back in the backfield too, creating pressure, and that's what this Wake Forest defense needs, is consistently getting pressure in the backfield. They've given up some big plays, but they've also have had flashes of excellence, but they're going to need that to be more often in order to have success on the defensive side of the ball.
A loss of 5 yards on that play, second down 15.
On that loss, it's second down and 15 now for Mallard Creek. Just under a minute to go, first quarter. Smith with time, up top, finds Greer, he can't hold on to it. Pass just a little bit behind Vernon Greer, and as he slipped to the turf, he just could not hang on.
Well, and Paul, the Wake Forest secondary is going to have to keep a better eye on Greer because he was wide open on that play. Just another skinny post. He was running a two-man pattern with Kyle Horton on the outside, and they both had open areas.
Third and 15 for Mallard Creek. The ball at their own 29-yard line. 5 on the play clock. Smith hit from behind, and you can hear the roar of the crowd. That'll be Antoine Terry getting the hand. He gets in there and disrupts James Smith, and that surely is the best way to stop this Mallard Creek offense. Stop them before they get started.
Exactly. Well, that was a hard situation for the Mallard Creek offense, being third and long, but Terry got in the backfield there for the pressure, and that's what they're just going to need to do, is try to get pressure with that front 3 down linemen and let the rest of their linebackers and secondary stay in coverage to cover these talented wide receivers.
Bowman back to his 13-yard line, will punt it for Mallard Creek. It's a good punt. And it'll settle down at around the 33-yard line. So just over 30 seconds left to go here, first quarter. Wake Forest has shown some flashes on defense. They've certainly shown some flashes on offense, but now they've got to get a consistent drive together, and they've got to get on the board.
Well, Paul, they've had some big plays, and they have shown some flashes, like you said, but Mallard Creek's doing it consistently, whereas in Wake Forest, they're not doing it that way, and they're going to need to play their best ball game against this Mallard Creek defense, especially because they're so solid on that side of the ball.
First and 10 from the 34-yard line for Wake Forest. Moore on play action, has a man over the middle. Can he make the throw? And that one is incomplete, as Sidney Campbell was open but couldn't come down with it.
Well, they surprised this Mallard Creek defense on first down, throwing a bomb there to Campbell. Just couldn't bring it in, but they're probably going to go back to this ball play later in this game because he was so open, and Moore right there scanning the field down there, and is wide open. Campbell was, just couldn't bring it in for the completion.
So we talked about those flashes. That certainly would have been a huge play for Wake Forest. Now they just got to settle down. It's second down and 10. 25 seconds left to go, first quarter. They get back to one of their money plays. And Love gets this crowd excited, at least on the home side of the field, as he picks up a first down for Wake Forest.
Well, they've had success with that toss sweep to the outside, and Love again just shows his speed, following his blockers, and they secure the edge. Or they're Devin Lawrence with a big block to spring Love for the extra yardage.
First and 10 from the Wake Forest 47-yard line. This could be the last play of the quarter as Bryce Love reaches out and puts the ball right at midfield, a gain of 3 on the play for the Cougars. And we've come to the end of the first quarter. Mallard Creek doing it with the big plays. Wake Forest trying to come back here as we get back into the second quarter right after this. Mallard Creek leading Wake Forest 12-0.